Hello and welcome to our channel. We are so happy to have you here with us. If you're looking to improve your English speaking skills and gain more confidence, you've come to the right place. Whether you're just starting out or already at an intermediate level, we're here to guide you with practical tips, fun lessons, and real-life examples to help you speak English like a pro.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's podcast. We're so excited to have you with us. Whether you're at home, on your way to work, or just relaxing, we're here to help you improve your English skills. I'm Agnes, and today we've got something really special planned for you.
Hi, I'm Jasper. I'm also thrilled to be here with you today. We have a topic that's super important and exciting for anyone who's learning English. So, let's dive right in.
Yes, let's do it. Today's topic is something that will truly help you improve your English in a fun and effective way. It's all about listening and speaking skills in English. Now, you might be wondering, why is this so important? I already know some words and grammar. Well, let me tell you, listening and speaking are the foundation of real communication.
Exactly. And trust me, even if you know a lot of words, without the ability to understand what others are saying and express yourself clearly, it can be tough. Imagine trying to have a conversation but not understanding the other person or struggling to find the right words. It can be frustrating, right?
Exactly, Jasper. And it's so important because these skills are what we use every day when we talk to people, watch movies, listen to the news, or even ask for directions. It's not just about knowing the language, it's about using it in real situations. So today, we'll talk about how to get better at these skills and why they matter so much in your language journey.
So, let's get into it. First of all, listening. When we talk about listening, we don't just mean hearing the words. Listening means understanding the meaning behind the words, paying attention to pronunciation, and even understanding emotions in someone's voice.
That's right. And listening also helps you get used to how English sounds when it's spoken naturally. When you listen to real English conversations, you start to notice things like intonation, rhythm, and stress. This can help you speak more naturally, too.
Absolutely. And for speaking, it's all about practicing. The more you speak, the more comfortable you'll become. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Mistakes are a part of learning, and each time you speak, you'll get a little better. One of the most powerful things you can do is practice speaking with others, whether it's with friends, teachers, or even by repeating what you hear in podcasts like this.
And you know what? The great thing is that listening and speaking are skills that go hand in hand. When you listen carefully, you pick up new words and phrases that you can use when you speak. It's like a cycle. Listening helps speaking, and speaking helps listening.
And that's why today's topic is so exciting. Improving both your listening and speaking skills will give you confidence in every English conversation you have. Whether you're talking to a friend, making a phone call, or giving a presentation at work or school, you'll feel more ready and comfortable.
Exactly. And I'm so glad you're here with us today because just by listening to this podcast, you're already practicing your listening skills. It's such an important step, so let's take a moment to thank everyone who's tuning in today. We really appreciate you choosing to spend your time with us.
Yes, thank you so much. It's because of listeners like you that we're able to keep making these podcasts and helping you on your English learning journey. We're so excited to be a part of your progress.
All right, let's dive right into it. We left off talking about how important listening and speaking are for your English skills. Now, let's get into some practical tips you can use every day to improve these skills. First up, let's talk about listening. Listening doesn't just mean hearing words, it's about understanding what's being said and getting a deeper meaning from the conversation.
Exactly, Agnes. And the best part is that you can practice listening everywhere. You don't have to be in a classroom or with a teacher to improve your listening skills. You can listen to podcasts like this one, watch movies or TV shows in English, or even listen to songs.
Yes, one of the most effective ways to improve your listening is to listen to content that interests you. If you enjoy a particular TV show, movie, or even YouTube channel, watch it in English. Don't worry if you don't understand everything at first. Over time, you'll start to pick up new words, phrases, and different accents.
I love that idea. And here's a tip, try listening with subtitles in English. This way, you can hear the words and see how they are written at the same time. It helps reinforce both the pronunciation and spelling of words. Plus, if you miss something, you can read the subtitles and learn what it means.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to pause the video or replay parts. Sometimes, repeating the same section helps you catch details you missed the first time. Another great tip is to listen to different accents and voices. English is spoken in so many different ways around the world, and getting used to different accents can help you understand a wider range of speakers.
That's a fantastic point, Agnes. Accents can be tricky at first, but the more you listen to them, the easier they get. And, while you're practicing your listening, don't forget about active listening. Active listening means really focusing on what the person is saying, not just hearing the words, but also paying attention to how they say it. You can notice if they are excited, asking a question, or giving information. It adds so much more to the conversation.
Yes, and while you're getting better at listening, you'll also start improving your speaking. The key to speaking confidently is practicing regularly. Even if you don't have anyone to practice with, there are still plenty of ways to work on your speaking skills. For example, you can practice speaking by shadowing. Shadowing means listening to a speaker and repeating exactly what they say, trying to match their pronunciation, rhythm, and intonation. It's a great way to improve your speaking skills, even if you're by yourself.
I love shadowing. It's a fun and powerful way to improve both listening and speaking. You can start with short sentences or phrases. For example, if you're watching a movie and a character says, "Can you help me?" pause and repeat the sentence exactly as you heard it. Focus on matching the way they say it, the tone of their voice, and how their words flow.
And don't worry if you don't get it perfect right away. The more you practice, the better you'll become. Another way to improve your speaking is by practicing with a language partner. This can be a friend, a teacher, or even someone online who is also learning English. The idea is to have regular conversations where you can practice both speaking and listening.
Exactly. Language exchange partners are a great way to practice. You can take turns speaking in your native language and the other person speaks in English. This gives you both the chance to improve. And, if you don't have a partner, you can always talk to yourself. I know it might sound funny, but speaking out loud to yourself can really help. You can describe what you're doing, practice new vocabulary, or even have imaginary conversations. It might feel silly, but it's a fantastic way to get used to speaking English more naturally.
That's such a good point, Jasper. Speaking to yourself is also a way to build your confidence. The more you practice, the less shy you'll feel when it's time to speak with others. And let's not forget about recording yourself. You can use your phone or computer to record your voice and listen back to it. This way, you can catch mistakes or areas where you can improve, and you'll get better at hearing the way you sound in English. It's a great self-evaluation tool.
Absolutely. And it's also helpful to slow down when you speak. A lot of learners think they need to speak quickly, but that can lead to mistakes or unclear pronunciation. Take your time to pronounce each word clearly. When you speak slowly and clearly, your message will come across better, and it's easier for the listener to understand you.
Yes, and as we mentioned earlier, don't be afraid to make mistakes. Mistakes are a part of the learning process, and the more you speak, the fewer mistakes you'll make over time. Just keep practicing. One other thing to remember is that feedback is important. Whether you're practicing with a teacher, a friend, or a language partner, ask for feedback on your speaking. They might give you tips on how to improve your pronunciation or fluency, which will help you sound even more.
Great point, Agnes. Feedback can help you correct mistakes before they become habits, and it can also motivate you to keep going. So, when you practice listening and speaking, keep a positive attitude. The more effort you put into these skills, the better your English will become.
Exactly. So, in today's podcast, we've talked about how listening and speaking are connected and how both skills are essential for improving your overall English. Remember, it's not just about knowing grammar or vocabulary, it's about using the language to communicate effectively with others. And with practice, you'll see amazing progress.
Yes. So keep listening, keep speaking, and don't be afraid to make mistakes. We know you can do it, and we're here to support you along the way. Thanks again to everyone who's tuning in today. You're doing great.
Absolutely. You're already on the right track just by listening to this podcast. Keep practicing, and we're sure you'll see results. Stay with us as we continue to explore more tips and tricks to help you improve your English.
Yes, thank you again. We're so glad to have you here. Keep up the hard work, and remember, practice makes perfect.
Welcome back, everyone. We're so glad to continue this journey with you. If you've been following along, we've already talked about the importance of listening and speaking skills in English and shared some tips on how to practice them effectively. Now, let's dive even deeper and talk about how to make listening and speaking a part of your daily life, because that's where the real improvement happens.
Exactly, Agnes. The more you integrate English into your daily routine, the more natural it will feel. It's one thing to practice for an hour here and there, but the real magic happens when you make it a consistent habit. This doesn't mean you need to spend hours a day. Small changes in your daily activities can make a huge difference.
Yes, for example, one simple way to practice listening is to change the language settings on your phone or computer to English. Every time you check your phone or send a message, you're already interacting with English. It's a great way to see words and phrases in context, and you might even start thinking in English more often.
I love that idea. Another thing you can do is try listening to short English clips or podcasts during moments when you're not doing anything else. For example, while you're making breakfast, doing chores, or even walking to work or school, you can listen to a podcast, YouTube video, or an audiobook in English. This is a great way to expose yourself to English regularly without taking too much time out of your day.
Absolutely. And even if you're listening passively, meaning you're not trying to focus every second, it still helps. Over time, your brain gets used to the sounds and patterns of English. The more you listen, the better you'll understand and recognize the words when you hear them again.
Right. And when it comes to speaking, finding opportunities to practice is key. You can start small. Maybe you try speaking English to yourself when you're describing what you're doing, like, I'm making a cup of coffee, or I'm going to the store. These little moments help you get used to forming sentences and using new words you've learned.
Exactly. And if you're feeling brave, try speaking English out loud in front of a mirror. I know this sounds a bit silly, but it can be really helpful. By speaking in front of a mirror, you can see your mouth movements and check your pronunciation. Plus, you're practicing speaking in a safe environment where no one else is listening.
And don't forget about the power of shadowing. We mentioned it earlier, but it's such a great tool. For example, after listening to a podcast or watching a short video, you can pause it and repeat what you just heard, trying to mimic the speaker's voice exactly. Shadowing helps you not only with pronunciation but also with intonation, the way your voice rises and falls as you speak.
Yes, that's so true. And it's important to practice intonation because it's a big part of sounding natural in English. Native speakers use different intonation patterns for different situations. For example, When asking a question, the intonation usually rises at the end, like, "Are you coming with me?" But when making a statement, the intonation falls at the end, like, "I am going to the store." By listening carefully to these patterns, you can start using them in your own speech.
Great point, Agnes. And another way to practice speaking is through language exchange apps or websites. There are so many free platforms where you can find language partners around the world. You can practice with native speakers or other learners who are also working on their English skills. This is a fantastic way to get real conversations and learn informal language or slang that you won't always find in textbooks.
Language exchanges are an excellent opportunity for both speaking and listening. You'll hear different accents and you'll get immediate feedback, which is priceless. And don't worry about making mistakes. People you talk to will understand your learning and they'll appreciate your effort. Plus, when you make a mistake and someone corrects you, it's a chance to learn something new.
That's right. And we can't stress enough how important it is to learn from your mistakes. It's natural to feel embarrassed sometimes, but every time you make a mistake, you're one step closer to mastering the language. English learners often get scared to speak because they're afraid of making mistakes, but that's exactly how you improve.
Yes, mistakes are part of the process. You should celebrate them as learning moments. Another way to improve your speaking is by joining English-speaking groups or communities, whether online or in person. Many cities have meetups where English learners practice speaking together, or you could join online groups where you chat with people from around the world. These types of environments are great because they let you practice in a low-pressure setting.
That's a great idea, Agnes. And speaking of practice, let's not forget about learning and practicing new vocabulary. The more words you know, the easier it becomes to express yourself. You don't have to learn a huge list of words all at once. Try learning just a few words every day. You can write them down, use them in sentences, and then practice saying them out loud.
Exactly. And try to learn words that are useful to you based on your interests or your daily life. For example, if you love cooking, learn the names of ingredients, tools, and cooking techniques in English. If you enjoy sports, learn the vocabulary related to your favorite sport. This way, the words you learn will be more meaningful and easier to remember.
Yes, that's the key, learning words that are relevant to you. And once you start using those new words in conversations or writing, you'll remember them much better. Over time, you'll be able to express yourself more clearly, and your confidence will grow.
That's exactly what we want for you, confidence. With regular listening and speaking practice, you'll build that confidence, and soon it will feel much easier to talk to people in English. And don't forget, patience is key. Learning a language takes time, and it's okay to move at your own pace. The important thing is to keep practicing every day.
You're absolutely right, Agnes. The journey might seem long, but every small step you take brings you closer to your goal. So, keep listening, keep speaking, and remember that every bit of practice counts. And most importantly, have fun with it. Enjoy the process of learning and discovering new things about the language.
Exactly, Jasper. The more you enjoy the learning process, the faster and more naturally it will come to you. We're so proud of you for putting in the effort, and we know that with consistent practice, you'll reach your goals.
Thank you so much to everyone who's listening today. Keep up the great work, and remember, you're doing awesome. Stay motivated, and we're here cheering you on every step of the way.